Morning Year 6 and welcome to Tuesday's Home Learning. Today we're going to look at a text by Charles Darwin, but before we start reading that, let's make sure we have got everything ready. So again, you are going to need your reading booklet, and today's date is the 12th, so these are the questions you need. Don't answer the questions until we pause the video. We can take our time. So right now what I'd like you to do is, just like yesterday, pause this video here and open up the video of Charles Darwin Part 1. When you have got that, get your text ready and read along with me. When you've finished, unpause. Now we've read the text about Charles Darwin, it's time to check our vocabulary because there was a lot of words in there that we might have found a bit tricky. The first one, prosperous. If someone is prosperous, it means they are successful. So Charles was a successful physician and scientist. Loathed. Loathed is another word for hated, disliked. Captivated. Captivated by a book. Now, captivated means you've taken an interest in something. You're really interested in it. Dissected. When you dissect something, you cut it up and examine it. It's what people do to find out new things about, especially about the body and how things work in our body, like the heart or the lungs. Exasperated. Exasperated means irritated, frustrated. His father, who was exasperated, he didn't know what to do. Emulate. If we emulate something, we try and become that person. Fictitious. This is a word that's similar to one we use all the time, fiction. We know that a fiction story is a story that's made up. So a fictitious, if something is fictitious, then it's made up. The last one is uniformitarian, and this was a word that I had never come across before either. Uniformitarian is a word for a theory that means basically we study something that is here today, and that gives us an idea of what it was like in the past. So if we look at a creature today, we could see what that creature's ancestors were like. So in our sessions, we're going to have a round of quick start questions. Now, these questions should only take about 5 minutes. You don't need to write in full sentences, just the answers. So how old was Darwin when his mother died? We know here it says how old. That means we're looking for an age in our answer. So pause the video, give yourself 5 minutes, use the text and answer these quick start questions. When you've finished, unpause and we'll go through the answers. So let's have a look at the answers. How old was Darwin when his mother died? 8 years old. If you've got a blue pen with you, give yourself a tick. What type of school did he go to? Well, at first he says he went to an elementary school, but the answer I'm looking for is that it was a boarding school because he got sent away to a boarding school. Which universities did he attend? He attended 2 universities, and they were the University of Edinburgh and Cambridge. What leisurely activities did Darwin enjoy? Hunting and going on long walks. And finally, why did Darwin put a beetle in his mouth? Darwin put a beetle in his mouth because he was trying to catch another one, and he already had 2 beetles in his hands, so he had to put one somewhere to pick the 3rd beetle up. How did you do? Okay, so through these sessions, there will be opportunities for partner talk, individual thinking, and solo tasks. As we are not in school doing this, partner talk might be a bit hard. But if you've got someone else in your house with you, a brother or sister, mum or dad, aunt and uncle, grandparents, you can have a discussion with them and that could help you. If not, just use it as individual thinking time. So this first one is, a few years later, the book's author, Charles Lyell, would become one of Darwin's greatest friends and supporters. Why do you think the 2 men became great friends? Have a think and write your answer on the right-hand side of the page. So, why do you think the 2 men became great friends? I would suggest that the 2 men became great friends because they shared similar interests. They were both interested in the same type of thing. And Charles Lyell, his uniformitarian theory was similar to the theory of evolution. Okay, the next question then. Using your own words, explain the theory of evolution by natural selection. So here I've included the extract of where it tells us what evolution by natural selection is. As this question is asking you to do it in your own words, you are just basically summarising then what the theory of evolution is. Pause the video and write down your ideas to what evolution is. Remember to punctuate your sentences correctly. So basically, the theory of evolution is the change in the characteristics of a species over several generations, and they change based on their environment. So the next one, again, it's partnered talk. If not, use it for individual thinking time. So this next question is about vocabulary and how a word can tell us something about a character or a person. Despite his father's uncharacteristic outburst, the young Charles Darwin was enthusiastic about science. What does the word uncharacteristic suggest about his father? What kind of man do you think he was? So to answer this question, first of all, we need to know what uncharacteristic means. Now, if someone is uncharacteristic, it means it's out of character. It's not like them. It's not the way they usually act. So if the father has had an outburst and that is not like him, what kind of man do we think he was most of the time? Use this to try and answer this question. Pause the video, and when you've answered your question, unpause. So after reading this, the word uncharacteristic suggests that most of the time Charles Darwin's father was quite a reasonable guy. He doesn't usually have outbursts. I think he was quite supportive of Charles Darwin. The next question then. Although Darwin embarked on the voyage as an unknown recent graduate, he returned as a respected, well-known scientist. Why do you think this happened? What did Darwin do to become a respected scientist? If this was a question in a test, this would probably be a 2 or 3 mark question, because we are looking at how Charles was before the voyage, what happened, and how he was when he returned. So there are 3 things we can talk about. So what happened on this journey? What made him become a respected scientist? What did he do to change himself? Pause the video, have a think, write your answers, and then unpause when you're ready. Okay, let's have a look at what happened on his journey then. So before he went on his voyage, he'd only just graduated from university. On the HMS Beagle, Charles Darwin visited lots of different countries, examined lots of specimens, saw lots of species, and wrote down all of his observations. This helped him become a respected scientist because he had evidence of what his theory was. All right then, next question. So this is the last question of the day, and this is your solo task. Something for you to take a little bit more time on and think about. So Darwin could have published his theories earlier, but he chose to support these theories with lots of evidence and research. Why do you think it was important to do that? Well, he had a lot of opposition in his theories, people that didn't believe him, people that didn't want to believe him. So why do you think he waited and got lots of evidence and research? Put that into a sentence or 2. And then have a think about whether you have ever provided evidence for your thoughts, opinions, or even requests. Think about what we do in reading, in all lessons actually. We always want to try and find evidence, don't we? And how does that help you? How does finding evidence for your thoughts, opinions, or requests help you? Okay, look forward to seeing your answers at the end of this week. I'll see you all tomorrow.